Welcome, great sunrise, sunshine people of the light, light, and the dark. Today, I want to talk about voting, casting your vote. When you cast your vote, unknowingly, you're agreeing to the constant abuse that has been inflicted upon us by the very system that has set up the political ballgame. And expects you to remain in ignorance to the whole reason for its creation of the political ballgame. It's one thing to understand their game. Hey, Arthur. And it's another thing to think that understanding is all you need. To trust anything that they tell you, after all, the proving they have done, shown you that they have shown you that they are not trustworthy people. But yet, we still fall for the same old same. The men who play in sports have no power. The entertainers have no power. Us voting has no power. Us not voting, well, that holds some power. Us not playing their sports holds power. Us not singing for them, dancing for them holds power. Us withdrawing ourselves from a system of abuse holds power. Us taking in a system that has abused us is hopeless. I cry because I see the hopelessness. I cry because I see my people depending on someone helping them. When the help comes, no spiritual protection in voting. The help only comes from yourself. What I've been talking about a long time in all my videos. Self. And I see our Black communities so dependent on something else, depending on programs to help us. And we're falling deeply into sickness, deeper and deeper into sicknesses. I see our people who have become wealthy off of entertainment, wealthy off of ball games, and not getting any better. Spiritually horrible, sick people. Do I need to say the scripture that says, what is it for a man to gain the world, but to have nothing? After the third, no matter who's in the office. Hey, Miss Life Lessons, welcome. After the third, no matter who's in the office, no matter who is leading what country around the world, we're still going to get the same results. People are going to sit around and say, why? Why are we still here? Why are we still getting the same results? And those who can see will say, we get the same results every day because the people don't want to change. The people don't want to be the leaders. The people don't want to stand up and take their place. The people live in ignorance. The people don't like themselves. The people don't care. They just want somebody else to do it. They just want somebody else to care. They think that in this world, we cannot vote. We cannot vote. We cannot vote for mental health. We cannot vote for the children to grow up and be allowed to be children. We cannot vote for money. That's just a fact. We have to do it on our own. We the people. The people have to do it. Don't you see sickness? If you vote, all your leadership is going to be sick. All our leaderships in this place is going to be sick until the people of the right minds, hearts, stand up and take their places. Balance. Balance. I get so frustrated of how we allow, real men allow the imbalance to take place. I don't see how they can stomach hearing other men say what they say, see them do what they do in this walk about this planet and doing what they do. Naming Akon. 6 kids by 3 different women and still counting more, adding more women. And trying to build a city in Senegal. And do you think it's going to be women and children in mind when he does this? Do you think he's edifying Senegal people? Do you think he's hiring them? Do you think he's using the talents of Africa? After the elections, there'll be millions and millions of more shootings within the Black community by white police officers. There'll be more and more children shooting children. There'll be more and more of this because people don't care about who they are really. And perhaps they don't think it's worth fighting. I don't know. But why do you want to put forth trust in a people that have done nothing but fail to you when the trust needs to be put in yourself? The trust needs to be put in yourself. I don't depend on the president to raise my children. I don't depend on anything. They don't reflect my life. What it's supposed to be is community. It's supposed to be community, but we're distanced as from each other in our small communities. And we're doing the work, but we tend to, it's so frustrating that we have, they call it a rabbit hole. We are deep within the rabbit hole because we have a thing called where our entertainers are filthy rich and our men filthy rich on the plantation being controlled, separated from their souls, as well as our ball players. It's sickening. It's all sickening. It's really sickening. And when you look at the state of the world, it's sickening. It's sickening. And then people say, well, I've always wanted to do this and do that for the world. But those people, where are they at? They didn't do anything for the world. Not a thing. Not a thing. Because this world that we're in is totally imbalanced. It's in a state of imbalance and it's sickening. Women and children don't stand a chance. Women and children do not stand a chance in this place. Emmanuel Briggs, welcome. He says, sorry to hear that you're so upset, Lightbearer, but I understand your passion, but I believe that it's always darkest before dawn. That's true. It is. It is. And like the doctor says, it gets worse before it gets better. The pain is going to be there, the discomfort is going to be there. But yeah, just know that, yeah, it is light at the end of the tunnel. Celebrities are used to manipulate the Black community as bait and switch. Yes. And just, it's sickening. It's really sickening. It's really, really, that's all I can say. I can say it's just sickening. And the ball players too, you know. It's just sickening. You know. You're gonna, you know, and Akon, he's got all this money, but he does the bidding of the devil because he goes to his country, a sweet country full of beautiful people, and I know some people from there, and he goes there to bring this wickedness there, and it does affect everybody. It affects other people. It really will. Everything affects people. Others can't do nothing, without affecting other people. And that's the way I feel about it. Because some people think that things don't affect other people, but it does. It really does. It affects the planet. And then later you wonder why this happens to you, because you're not spiritually in sync with your own nature. You want to do something because the things outside you are enticing, and it really does affect people. Africa's already has different issues in different countries over there. So, you're not helping your own people by not hiring them. You're not utilizing their talents. You're going to bring over sexual deviance because he's a sexual deviant. Who does that? Who has 6 children by 3 different women and now he has another girlfriend? You know what I'm saying? You pregnate, that's abuse of women. That's abuse of children in itself. That's what I call it. That's why over here I'm totally against polygamy and all those old other unnatural things they want to call sex groups. I went over them before in one of my other videos, the whole list of sex groups. You can group in many different ways. They call it polygamy or they call it various different things. They have so many names for these different sex groups. People, men with one woman, multiple women with one man, or you can have multiple couples living together, switch and bait, bait and switch, or whatever. You name it. That's the way people want to live. But to me, you bring children into that, and that's in a sense, it's abuse of the feminine. It's abuse of the feminine and masculine. It's abuse of the feminine masculine energy because it's keeping them out of sync with each other, out of balance. It's keeping them in a state of imbalance. And I mean, I watched the movie Shaka Zulu, and the same thing I see, the little boy Shaka, how he had to grow up with his mom being mistreated, and he saw his mom being mistreated, and he rose up to change the situation, because no woman and no children should be treated that way. No woman, no children should be treated that way at all. Nowhere on this planet. And we're just in a state of an imbalance, a very bad imbalance. And it's not good for us to partake in this, because when we partake in this, what happens is what we were supposed to trust in self, we put trust in, we're agreeing. What makes it so bad about people voting is that you're agreeing to accept the abuse and unknowingly, because they got you so caught up in what my cousin called it the other day. She called it, I call it a debacle, a mess. But I love the way she put it. Yes, Miss Life Lessons. That's true. Researching my African roots, polygamy. Yes, look at Shaka Zulu. They got a big. It's a long series of Shaka Zulu. That movie broke my heart to see how this, he was the first son, Shaka was, of the king, and how he got treated and his mom got treated. How you treat woman and child, in this society. Yes, very mistreated. Mm-hmm. Hey, that guy from Texas, welcome. Yeah, and we look at Biden and we look at Trump, And I don't think white men, period, from what I've learned in school, when I learned the European uh their history, I learned that, and what I've seen in my experience in my travels in life as well, um, a lot of patriarchy, a lot of, I've been in it because I was in the service and I've seen it. I've seen, men, um, when I was overseas, men requesting boys, you know, the same thing they did in Europe. I learned in school about how many of these monarchs, they loved young boys, you know, and um, again, abuse of the masculine and the feminine energy on this planet, and it just knocks the hope out of me. It knocks the hope out of me. It really does. It just, to think about it, to see it, to live in it. It's just, it's horrible. It's really, really sickening. I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired of it. There's no way, that, there's just some things on this planet that just it's actually going against the feminine energy. There's no way that the feminine energy on this planet is not well taken care of. That children are not well taken care of. Women and children are supposed to be balanced. It's supposed to be taken care of on this planet. But if man is out of balance, masculine energy is out of balance, feminine energy is going to be out of balance. And the cycle just repeats itself over and over again. And that's what's happening. The cycle, you're agreeing, when you vote, you're agreeing to the cycle repeating itself over and over again. And like you said, we got to get out, we got to detach from it. True. I'm detaching from the matrix. I'm not interested in their politics, religion, or materialism. Exactly. I mean, they push so much disgusting things in our faces that I'm surprised more people are not running the other way. But I do see that some people just don't get it. Some people just don't get it. But I'm not early voting. I'm not doing any kind of voting at all. Zero. Because I'm not contracting. I'm not casting my energy to them. My energy is more wanting to be constructive, build, and create balance within our masculine and the feminine energy for the future of our children. For the future of our children. Give it to me, baby. Go get it. Go get it. Stop it. Go back down there. Let me see. Yep, we have to detach. Like I said, it's sad, but we think that, you know, this place is really, really, really a sickening place. So when you look at it, you should be angry before you go and cast a vote. You should be angry and disgusted at the whole thing. When you can see the whole big picture, you can see the whole overall everything and why it is the way it is. It's total unfairness, imbalance, and it's intentionally to set you off. But your set off is a good set off. It should be a good set off to move you to move yourself, remove yourself. Like Miss Life Lessons is saying, she's detaching from the matrix to detach ourselves from this lie, this illusion. Because like when you put those glasses on and you go into virtual reality and it seems like it's so real, that's what it's like. No different. It just seems so real, seems overpowering, but it's not. You know, this is not. Because the whole thing is, it's the people. It's not anything else. It's you where you're at. You're the change that you're waiting for. You're the one that has to do that. Yeah. Prospero, how you doing? You know, it's you. It's you that holds the power, not the things outside yourself. So the whole thing is we give power to things outside of ourselves that need us, and we make like we need it, but we don't need that. It's us within ourselves. But it's unfortunate how it works. We get affected because we gave our energy to that thing. And you know, I'm definitely, you know, after you look and see people like Akon, you got to pull back your energy. You got to pull back that energy. He sucked up our energy with his good music. And he ended up disappointing us. He comes out to be a man with love, tasting different women, 6 children, different children by all different women. And I guess for the longest time, I thought he lived in polygamy, but I guess not. Because he's got girlfriends and doing all kinds of stuff. And it's pitiful. But he took it off of our energy, right? And this is what he pushes out, this filth. He gives us back filth. You know, and then he wants to keep everything private, but it's not so private. Messing with a 15-year-old, just sickening. In Trinidad, family, it's just really, 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 really sick. Then you're lucky, Prosperato. I I voted after 2008. I voted 2008 and afterwards, but I did not vote for Trump. What I did for Trump was I did a ritual. I performed a ritual. I went to one of the I went to Papa Legba on Trump. I used Papa Legba. Um, and then I started doing some other rituals as well. I did some mini rituals that whole year, that whole time, that whole first year. I would come home and do, light the candles and do little rituals. Because I started looking inward and started working, doing the magic from within, and not giving my energy outside of myself, because these things are critical. These things are very critical. All the hurt and all the pain we see, all the agony we see, um, has got to come to an end soon. Soon. It's just all sickening to me. So it starts within us as people, especially our masculine energy has to learn to accept some things. Um, the ego needs to be tamed. We all can work on taming our egos, but the man, it's a challenge for him, because it's a little bit more of a challenge. But I've witnessed a lot of men who have worked on it. So, I mean, we can see that the doctor's right. Healing is slowly, he sees the progress. You see, there's progress in that. There is progress. But it's going to take for the people of Senegal to do their part for the sanctity of the woman over in Africa. Yes, she did. She died here in Virginia, because you don't mess with that energy. That's our energy. And she's a little teenage white girl. And she was trying to use it in the wrong manner. For one thing, she couldn't use it. She's already white. She's already Caucasian. See, that's what they want us to do. That's through mixing, they want us to transform ourselves into what they are. And that's dead. So she may have had Black ancestors or whatever, but she not really transformed into this Caucasian child. And through racial mixing, that's what happens. It's evident. We can see it. We see it happening now. We see a lot of Black brothers. I did a video on one Black brother. He ended up having a straight out white baby, right? So we don't really get the opposite of us. We don't get it. The opposite of life is death. Yeah, served her right. She was trying to use that energy, and she can't use that energy. That Papa Legba, Caucasians cannot deal with that energy. Or I forgot what his name. How you say his name? None of that energy they can deal with. In my culture, non-blacks are forbidden from knowing the knowledge of our ancestors. Yes, exactly. But there's ignorant blacks that we have here, like Akon, very ignorant and disrespectful to woman and child. Um, because there's serious things happening. Our children are fatherless and godless. They don't have a person to teach them about who they are, how important they are. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. We fall into this thing. We acknowledge the prison systems when we shouldn't even acknowledge it because it's not even a part of our culture. Prison system is not a part of our culture. Have we ever known that people used to say, the more you attest, the more you mention something and become connected to it, that's a spell you're saying on yourself, on your people. So what if we in our community stop talking about jails, stop talking about the police? Matter of fact, I'm going to do a story. My story tonight is going to be dealing with that. I'm gonna probably title it police reform. How about that? No, not police reform, but people reform. Okay, people reform. They do not understand nor comprehend, because of you are void of penal energy, you will not be able to harness the energy of the ancients. Thus it killed her trying to evoke. Exactly, it killed her trying to evoke it. She really must have thought that, yeah, when I first got into being into Facebook and talking about spirituality and all that, I had to get the understanding because I was under the wrong impression. I had to get clarity and understanding on the Pinot Glar, these Caucasians, and I realized they were faking the funk. They were lying. So their understanding of it was totally a misnomer, normal. It was totally off. It was totally off. They think it's evil to open up your third eye. See, that's why I call them, I studied this about them. Their spirituality is opposite of ours. They have none. So, in understanding that, understanding that, or overstanding that, I knew that by me mating with them, I'm going down. I'm accepting a lesser being existence, not a higher existence. So they can't help you. They do not make nothing greater or better for you. Like a lot of Africans come over to America to escape their countries instead of fighting in their countries against the tyrant leadership. They come here and get mistreated by our tyrant leadership, by our sickening, disgusting leaders that we have over here. That's why I say the people are more important. People are way more important. People are more important than any man that can sit in the Oval Office. Why do we allow it? Why do we allow it? Fire them all. Take them off of payroll. Maybe that'll save us some money in our own pockets. You know, the whole thing is why, what made us, because we fell into the Caucasian system. This is their system that they need. They need that. They don't have no guidance. They need leaders. They're like robots. We're not robots. We're soulful people. We people who self-rule, you know. And we had communities. Communities, and we got to come out of the tribalness, because for me, if I trace myself back to Africa, I just go back to Africa. I go back to Africa, period. You know I go back to Africa. I don't have to, hey, Brother Bakari, welcome. You found me. I don't have to divide up and say, I got this, I have Ashanti, I have that, I have Bantu. No, Bantu is all of them. Bantu represents every African off and on the continent, around the world. All Black people are Bantu. It is one. You Bantu, you're Egyptian. You Bantu, you're Egyptian, you're Kemetic. You Kemetic, you're Nubian. If you Black, you all of it. It doesn't, the only division comes from this Caucasian. They divide up things. They divide up themselves, you know. And, you know, it's really sickening. What is happening to the feminine energy, it's totally not been utilized much. So we're coming into the time when we have to be balanced. If you're not balanced, then you're stuck. And like I said, no spiritual protection in voting. I mean, you either want protection from a higher power or you want it from this power down here, this weak power that is a losing power, that is one-sided. Yeah, Pesperada said it well. Yes, they are about segmentation. They are left brain ruled. Exactly. And we need that right brain. We need that left and the right to balance us. We definitely need that. Now, I'm going to share my thing if anybody wants to come up and speak with me. Because I see Brother Bakari. Maybe he wants to give us some wisdom. Okay. Brother Bakari, you're welcome to come up. Anybody else wants to come up, you're welcome, because and render your voice freely. Yeah. That guy from Texas, he says, I believe that's where Bantu knots come from. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Feel free to come up, anybody. I thought I saw Brother Bakari. Oh, there you go. Brother Bakari, I dropped a link for you if you wanted to come up and speak and talk about your channel. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the importance of the more important thing is yourself. Self. Because self can do a lot more than what outside of us is doing. And what outside of us is doing is exactly what I put forth. It's abusing the feminine energy. It's not taking women and children in consideration whatsoever. And it's doing the same thing over and over. And it's getting worse. It's getting more sick. It's a cancer. It's a cancer that we definitely, I could see if he was building with Senegalese people talents, a beautiful haven for Black folks. But no, he's building what he lives. He's building his life. Akanda. Not Wakanda, but Akanda. And probably gambling, sex, what he loves the most, sex, evidently. Because if he loved anything else more than he loved sex, then it would be evident. He would love that woman, one woman, and he would love his children. But we see too often basketball players, football players, all ball players, they're just neglecting the children and going on to the next woman. From woman to woman without a care. This is what prosperity does, you know? Hold on a second. Well, if nobody's going to come up, maybe next time I'm going to close out. Thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you, Artho. I made it in an earlier time today, but tonight I'm going to do the story tonight. Thank you, Miss Life Lessons. Hopefully, Miss Life Lessons, if you can catch the stories. Don't forget to catch the Halloween stories. Oh, there's Bakari. Bakari, hi. Welcome, brother.
Peace, Sister Library. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
That's good. That's good. I was just tuning in. I really didn't know exactly what the show was about. I was trying to put that in the chat so I could come on and talk with you.
Yeah,
But
it's just no spiritual protection in voting.
you know what? We got no spiritual protection in voting. Um, no protection for our people. Period. Not just in voting. We have to be our protection.
Exactly.
Voting is I don't try to plug my channel on other people, but I did a show about this the other night. Somebody came in, allowed someone on my chat, and they messed up my show. But my show the other night was exactly about voting,
Mm-hmm.
not voting. I'm sorry, it was about protection. It was about us protecting our people and what we have to do to protect. Me personally, no spiritual protecting and voting. We saw what just happened the other day in Philly. I teach I teach black women to use weapons, preferably the handgun. We have to become our protectors. We have to get in tune with who we are, our God, right? And we become the protection. And let our God work through us. We are the protectors of our people. We are the protectors of us. We are the protectors of our women and our children, and the protectors of each other and our women. Innocents also have to be protectors. But when I say I teach women to use handguns, teach them to use guns to protect themselves, even though, because the man is not going to be with the woman all the time. I want the black woman to learn how to use that handgun. So therefore, in essence, I'm protecting you even when I'm not there, because I've shown you how to use it. And you can't be afraid to use it for protection, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's perfect. I agree 100% because it's not only about the weapons, though. It's about, us being, constructive, moving forward past. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hook myself back up. Okay. Us moving forward, being constructive, building, formulating our own system. Like you said about protection, the men in our Black communities, instead of, I know money is a big thing in our communities, and that frustrates me the most because the whole thing is, I don't, we were dragged into the system that has disenfranchised us in such a way. But now, when I mentioned the ball players and I mentioned the singers and actors, the entertainers and all that, it's very important because they see the state of our communities and many of them come from our communities, right? So the whole thing is we have a breakdown of culture. Like many people say, we're without culture. True culture is when you reach prosperity, you bring it back home. They don't even do that in Africa anymore. The Africans that leave Africa stay out of Africa. They don't go back home and build. And the same in America. When they leave their communities, they don't come back and build. They leave us. They neglect us to be abused by the overall system. And that's what's happened. And that's what's happened. Instead of saying, in my mind was always like, my city, if I became the famous person I wanted to become when I went to Hollywood, and I made it big, my whole thing was my city. I was going to go back for my Black family members, and I consider all Blacks in my little town, my family, because it's a small town, everybody knows everybody, right? But, I was going to make sure that, I go back and build them up. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it should be. That's the way we should do it.
I agree. That is how it should be done. But most of us have been taught to stay away from one another. And that's a government agenda. I like to talk about the NSC 46, National Security Council Memorandum 46, where they pit Black Africans against Black Americans, as they say, to keep the African Americans and the Africans separated. So they don't have to the government agenda here. So the government agenda is absolutely working, because when you look outside of yourself and see being like someone else, being like the ones that enslaved you, wanting to be like the ones who have taken everything from you. So when you get something, you don't go back to your people, you go to them. Like, I'm gonna use Nick Cannon for an example. His goal was to go out. What did he say? When you get money, you can't tell a black man with money what to do. When we get money, we want a white woman, because a white woman represents power. And he said all that he said about the Jews, but then when they called him on it, all of a sudden he's just donating and giving money to Jewish synagogues. He's just doing all of that to make sure they're okay with him. We got people like him who will talk that pro-black, but he's fake. Talk that pro-black, but they're fake, and they don't really help or do anything with our people, especially if it's uh especially if it's not something popular, you know, ground roots. So that's that is something that you are absolutely correct about. How we don't go back, we don't even see each other as family. And I see Paso Preto. I
Yes,
don't know
yes,
if
yeah.
I, huh?
Yeah, that is true what he's saying. Even when I
Yeah, I
was
know.
trying to lift myself up so I can lift my people up,
Well,
they'll knock you down. They'll knock you down if they see you going in that route. If they see that you're trying to do something and they can, they must have psychics or something, but they'll knock you down when you're on your right path trying to move forward so that you can't do those things. And that's what
yeah,
happened to me in my life. You know, I've been blocked. They throw things at me to make me weak. You know, things that they know that hinder me, that bother me, and broke me down. You know what I'm saying? So it's true. One thing, part of the contract signature of fame, and not just fame alone, but any job that you're in, like if you have a career, if they see that you're trying to prosper up the people and not just yourself, they'll hinder it. Is that you are not allowed to empower your community as Black celebrities. Yeah, they're not allowed, but it's not just in the celebrity sector. That's why many Blacks, who are successful, running a successful food business, or you're doing something successful, there's going to be a group of people coming against you to pull you down because they see that you are a hope for the masses. You know what I'm saying?
yes. Like, do you know who David Banner is?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing he was talking about. Do you remember in the early 2000s where they had these Gatorade and Sprite commercials where they was doing all the rappers on there and it always had hip hop beats and all that?
Yeah.
It, okay, the all those are David Banner commercials, and I learned that from watching him. But you're absolutely correct when they said about the contract, because that's one thing he said. So before he signed that contract, he said he had his attorney write the contract up. He didn't. When they talked to him about it, he said his attorney wrote up a contract, and once his attorney wrote up the contract, they signed it. And this time, it was nothing in there about he couldn't do. He would lose money if he did not civil rights, black rights work. If he became an activist for descendants of enslaved Africans, and that's what he said. But in his attorney, so he signed the contract that his attorney wrote so he could do what he wanted to do. But that's why you haven't heard anything from him unless you keep up with him and you buy music from from his website. You buy the things that he do there. But as far as being, they would never sign him again. But he made his money. And in the process of making the money, he made sure he was able to do certain things for his community and uplift the community. So you're absolutely correct about that. They don't want us to do anything. Uh, did you hear about the family in Georgia, that the 19 families that bought the 100 acres of land, 98 acres of land, something like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
we were actually had prospects of doing that same thing. We were going to get 116 acres, but they wanted like $1 million, like almost 1,900,000 for it.
Don't make it public, because you know what happened to the ones in Georgia, right?
Right.
So now they about to do a reality show. It went from being for safe haven for black people to a safe haven for all people of color, whatever a person of color is, because everyone on earth has color. Some just paler than others.
Yeah, that's
And then
what
it was,
albinos. Everybody has an albino. There's albino white people. There's
yep,
albino black people. There's albino. Everybody has an albino. So everybody has color. They're pink. They're actually pink, and so they don't have that. They get that pink to yellowish tint color tinge on.
yep.
Color.
So now it's for, and I also say now it's for white people.
Really?
Yeah, that can protect pro-black people. Yes, they about to do a reality show and everything. It's just, so the point is, I can buy land once I can say it's for whoever I want it to be for, right? So can't nobody tell me I got to say it's for everybody. No, my land is for black people. But when you have been taught to bow down to people and not to stand up for your rights, and this is also where integration come in at. See, you beg and make them change the law so you can go to any store. So now if you do something, it's just like a country club. And you can search through here in this country how many times black people with money sued to go to a white country club instead of creating your own country club. So now you have put this out there, it's for black only. And now they have made you do this. So there's no need for your land. I guess there's a need for your land for you. And the reality show is probably going to pay it off or whatever. But I was about to go visit the land and I was about to start making monthly donations. But I'm not doing that. Yeah, you can get the people of color to do it, whoever they are. You can get the white people that work with pro-black people to do it. You know, but I'm not going to be a part of it. So even though I probably wasn't going to anyway, but I was going to donate to it because that was a good thing that they did.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it is a good thing they did, but they should, when I do it, there's no way they can talk me out of allowing other people to be on the land. Because there's no reason for other people to be on the land. Other people own land around me. White people are always going to own land around where I buy my land. So what's the use? What's the reason for me to allow them on my land when they already have their land? You know what I'm saying? Why do I want to be integrated with them?
Yes, and we have to, but that's the fear that they are putting us. We are scared. It's not almost, we are afraid. We are afraid to say this is for us and us only. But when you solely depend on everybody and you want to turn and ask other people, y'all need to give us reparations, y'all need to give us this, y'all need to do this for us, because we don't think we can do anything for ourselves. So we have to get out of that mindset where we need them to do everything.
Exactly. That's why I would say the president needs to be getting rid of. We don't need presidents. We don't need a big White House. We don't need a Washington, D.C. You don't need those things. It's no way that is actually not good. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good.
Yep. I don't think it's good for us either.
I don't think it's good for anybody to have that, or Washington D.C. because it looks like to me they're up there in the suits and ties. Well, I would say beyond suits and beyond dresses. They're dressed really nice all the time, and they get majority of the bulk of the money. You see what I'm saying? Why the citizens are starving, can't afford to have a place to live. I see countless numbers of black old women walking with buggies, homeless in this place where I'm at.
Yeah, you know, this guy just put in the chat the indigenous copper tone Christ that if we build it, they'll just tear it down and burn it up. See, that's a bunch of doubt that we allow people to put in our head that if we do something, they gonna just that's a bunch of doubt.
No,
Because
they
if
can't because
they gonna come burn and tear down, we can stop them from burning it and tearing it down.
well, we always had black people that own land and still own land. I have relatives that own land. But the whole thing is, it's there's black people all over this country that owns land. But what they're doing with it is what the question is. And we could be having grocery stores and stuff and providing for our own people. And no one will even try to bother us. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't. They don't have the power to. Only when we give them power. That's why I said I don't vote. I'm not going to vote because it would take away from my spiritual protection, and my path that I'm on is the right path. So why would I jump off that path to go backwards and just I just can't. It's something that I can't bring myself to do, to go backwards. I'm moving forward.
You,
Uh,
when you said there's a lot that's on land, I'm gonna tell you something, right? My family, where I'm from, this one, my father's my hero. I say my father is the greatest man that ever lived. I saw my father sacrifice a whole lot for black people.
mm-hmm,
But my family, we left over 4,000 acres. And but see, since I never farmed, my dad didn't teach me to farm.
mm-hmm.
I'm in the process. I'm trying to contact. I can go get the land. It was left to my father, but he just let some relatives control it. But since I never farmed, I don't want to go down there and say, y'all got to give me this.
But you don't even have to do like that with them. What are they doing with it?
Oh, they farm, but I want to buy.
You can get involved with them.
Yes, but I want to buy some because they may not be on the same thing that I'm on, and I want to buy so I can do my ideas. I can get involved with them.
Yes, get
But I
involved
want to get
with
50
them
to 100 acres.
first.
I want to get to 50 to 100 acres, and I want some people to be able to come and stay on that land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's um yeah, like I said, the first step, Bakari, is to get involved with them, let them know your intentions are good, and you want to work with them, and you want to actually help the situation better, because you don't know what they're going through with all that land. You know what I'm saying, Bakari?
Yes, with all that land, you're
Yeah, you
correct.
don't know what they're dealing with right now. I mean, even though the rural areas, we pay less taxes in the rural areas, you do, versus the city. Um, but still, they probably are, you never know what they dealing with out there.
Hmm.
And you could probably relieve them of some of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
hmm But
but
I have
that
to talk to you in private because I don't like to talk about progress in the Black community over the, our plans too much over the thing.
Over the airways, yep.
Yeah.
That's why, we have email. We can talk through
Yeah.
email, phone. Yep.
Do you want to talk about your channel and share your channel?
But actually, I'm doing a show today. It's called Brother Bakari. My channel is called Brother Bakari. I'm doing a show in a couple of hours. It's going to be called Black Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
It's about Micah Xavier Johnson, Christopher Dorner, and Gavin Long. Those are some guys that killed some police here in the 2000s. They had their reasons for doing what they're doing. Because I'm going to talk about how their system, because I know you heard about what happened in Philadelphia the other night, Monday night actually. I was doing a live Monday night and got a phone call from my homie in Philly. They called me. I got the information like 5 minutes after it happened where they killed another unarmed black man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to also talk about how black cops, it's time for them to draw the line what side that they're on. I'm not telling you to do your job, but you can't continue to let people do this to black people. If you're a black person, regardless if you're a cop or not, it's time to draw the line because wearing that badge does not make you immune. So I'm gonna also show the video of the president of the police union in Chicago, black guy, who was bragging on how good his cops was in Chicago and there's no police abuse. Then a couple of hours later, some cops that saw him didn't know he was the president of the union and he was beat.
And then not only that, even the black police officers are getting abused. Even the black police officers are getting abused. I told them, I requested that they come back home and come out of the nonsense, the matrix, the illusion, because it's not fair that we see our black policemen and women get arrested for mistakes, but the white cops get to walk when they accidentally shoot people because of fear. Our men had just as right to shoot. They were doing their jobs. But they immediately went to jail. Whereby it takes a long time for black people to get justice from the white cops. But white people can immediately get justice from our black cops. And if they think that's sickening, it's sickening to sit in a system and lie to yourself and think that you really are living a life. It's a lie. It's a lie. So all our training, we need that on our side. We need our training, our people to come back, home. But, it's just sickening. I saw Vinica Fox talking against, they were interviewing Ice Cube, and they were bringing up feminism in the black community. He said he wrote the plan for black people. They swear up and down that he left out black women. What kind of sickness is that, Bakari?
That's part of the divide that I'm gonna tell you something. It's like it's on cruise control now. Really, white people don't have to do nothing anymore. They already have people that will automatically come after us when we try to do something. Just like, I'm gonna use this for an example. The NFAC, you know who that is, right? The leader, the black militia NFAC. As soon as they stepped out armed and saying they want to fight back, more black people talk negative about them than white people. They're an agent. It is. He's a clown. He's dumb. Yada, yada, yada. More black people talk negative about him. But see, I've dealt with them. I have my little small thing that I'm doing here. So I have people from my group that's affiliated with the NFAC. A couple of them is a part of the NFAC. And the stuff they are saying about him, he's a dumb, he's a clown, they are not this, that. They are not affiliated with him. They have never met him, they've never done nothing. But it's on cruise control. We are like God, we are guard dogs for them. And we're gonna attack one another. So that's the same thing that those black women was doing to Ice Cube. They don't even have to get a check right now. And sometimes we do it and we're doing it unwittingly. We're doing it unwittingly. Some people know exactly what they're doing, and some people don't know what they're doing.
Sometimes they'll do it and you don't even have to pay them to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
It's
they
a
don't know they're
shame.
doing it.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah. And then, that's why, sometimes you just have to throw your hands up and cry, or do like Marvin Gaye said, just throw both of your hands up and scream, holler. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's your job, you got to get that energy out somehow. It's crazy.
hmm Because we know we need militias. I'm proud of them. I see the inspiration that the NFAC, their leader, the official Grandmaster Jay,
Hmm.
has given black people. So I'm not looking to find the negative. I've been talking about me trying to start a little militia where I live for a few years now.
Hmm.
Some people didn't listen to, but when they saw him go in the streets and do what he did, more and more people calling me. We're on the verge right now. We're looking now. We're on the verge right now. Getting our land. We about to get us an outdoor gun range.
Hmm.
I'm going to talk about it more once we get closer to it and once we do it. I don't talk about it that much because it's not here yet, but we see it. You understand? But
Hmm.
once we get, but he that organization has inspired people, and we need to take the inspiration instead of trying to make him feel bad. Not make him feel bad, the people that join him feel bad, or to sit here and make every black person think bad thoughts about him. What we do is we figure out a way to talk negative about them without accepting, without understanding the inspiration they are giving some of our youth. Miss Life Lesson say it's a crab in barrel mentality. Yes, it is. Sometimes it's men jealous of men.
Hmm.
It's not illegal. It's something that's not even private. But he's affiliated with the national. I'm gonna say it, the National African American.
When they used to do the meetup, right?
The National African. Yes, those black people. Yes, and
Because
he's a
people meet up to do a dance performance. They'll meet up.
yeah, but they
Yeah,
don't want to meet to
people,
protect us.
what
Yeah.
they used to do in New York, they used to meet up and say, everybody meet here, and we're just gonna do this. That's the way they
Mhm.
used to do it.
So I know how his organization was able to grow so quick. I know where he met the people. I know
Hmm.
all of them not in the same area, but I know what they are part of and how they were able to meet people. And it's not a private organization anyone can join. It's any black person can join. It's
Hmm.
called National African American Gun Association.
Yeah,
And since he's affiliated with them,
I
he
was
met.
I was talking about last time. I was telling because I got Miss Life Lessons from England, and I'm sure a whole lot of other people from different places around the country, around the world. And I was saying that in different places, what we could do is, in South America, we can say the South American Union, but it would be all Black people down there. And in North America, we have the American Union, and like we will all be one attached to the overall African Union, but it'd be all over European Union. It would be all over the place where there's Black folks, but we'd be
Yeah.
considered union. Something that they've taken away from us is our unification, you know. So I think, I talked about that last time, how we should form one, in each one of the places, because I've been all over the world, And I recognize that we have Black people in each spot, you know, original people.
Yes.
And I felt like every place I went was family. I never felt like strangers, you know.
Yeah, never feel like they're against me.
Mhm. No, I never felt like that.
And we have to get out of that mindset here. There's some organizations here that feel that way, but
Mhm.
they are, I don't like to use the word agent because, like I
Mhm.
say, some of them know what they're doing, some of them don't. But that's why certain people I won't follow. I
Yeah.
won't, the FBA, the ADOS, and I don't want to offend nobody, but for me, that's not for me because they are totally against Black people from other places.
Exactly. I'm not against Black people from other places because I am those Black people from other places. I'm Black people from everywhere. And I'm attached and I cannot cut it off because it's like cutting off my leg or my arm, you know.
You know,
It's
I
just
believe in, I believe in, I mean, I'm a 21st century God
hold on
guy.
a second, Bakari. You can go ahead and finish talking. I'll be back.
No, I said for me, I'm a 21st century God guy. So therefore, I believe in Pan-Africanism. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I practice it. So I'm not, whatever they say they want from this country, they love the country more than anything. They wear their red, white, and blue. They say they can wrap themselves in it. Whatever they want from this country, I hope they get it. And they don't understand someone like me saying they hope they get it and not being a part. I would not be a part of anything like that. Miss Lice,
Because it's not gonna,
Miss Lice,
it's not gonna come out balanced. Because it's they're they're in the physical part. The physical part may be all good for them, but when you look at the spirituality of it all, there's no balance in it ever for them.
you see they're fighting each other now.
Right.
ADOS is fighting one another. ADOS and FBA is fighting one another.
Yeah.
And I think some people, like I said, some people is paid to go somewhere and create confusion. Everywhere, I don't like to call people names, but everywhere Tariq Nasheed has been, whatever he dealt with, he has caused confusion.
Mm-hmm.
He go in, he creates confusion all the time to make other people look bad and will start making them so he can look good, then turn around and say, I'm not a leader. I'm not telling them we don't need no leader. We lead ourselves. That's an absolute lie. Every group, every racial group or ethnic group of people have a leader. There's the reason we are the way we are sometimes running around, some of our people, we run around and do the things we do is because we don't have proper leadership.
Well, the leadership is self. The whole thing is we don't listen to ourselves. That's our spirituality part of us. And
Yes, but to be part of the
they're
whole
not
group,
going to get it. FBA and ADOS, they're not going to get that the leadership starts with self because they're not into spiritual first. They're into the physical first and this color on our skin first, which the color of our skin is secondary to what is inside of us. And that's the soul. The soul, if it wasn't for the soul, we wouldn't have this color on the outside. You see what I'm saying?
yes.
So what's first is our spirituality. And then, if it wasn't for the soul within us, we wouldn't be Black people protected, working alongside Mother Nature and the sun. We very well could be soulless people. And that's the way they're moving. They're moving around like soulless people, not giving tribute to the soul within. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that the leader comes from within us. Each one of us are leaders. We must do our part. But if we never know that about ourselves, we're going to always look for a leader outside of ourselves. When that person outside of us, he's got to lead himself too as well first. And then we work together as one people.
But once we come together, we do need a leader. You have to have leadership. You have proper leadership.
But Kari, you don't ever need one leader.
No, I didn't say one
Many
leader.
leaders.
We need okay, like I'm gonna say it like this.
That's what the president and all that is.
No, okay, let me give you an example. Light Bear, let me tell you what I mean, right? You was in the military, right?
Yeah, I was in the military, but there was a lot of leaders. There weren't just one leader.
I didn't say we needed one leader. I was about to break it down and say how we need leadership.
Right.
We can copy things from the military to do what we do.
Right.
You need proper leadership.
Proper leaders, yeah.
It's never just one. We need leaders.
Exactly.
And the leaders work together.
Exactly. You're right. Now you're right, Ricardo.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with proper leadership, that's what you would have. You would have proper leadership. You're gonna have multiple leaders, like official Grandmaster Jay is the spokesperson for NFAC. And I do think he likes attention. I think he likes attention. That's just me. I think he likes attention. But I also know that if anything happened to him, I also know they have leadership in order, but he's not the only leader. He's above and he's the spokesperson, but they have other leaders that can set. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
He's not the only one.
No, there's many leaders in the Black community. Everyone is a leader. Everyone has to be prepared because they're not going to lean on one person's back. There's no leaning on one person's back. There's no such thing as that. You have to do your part, and you have to stand up and be counted and be the one as well. That's just the way life. This is just nature of life.
Yes, but
too much. We've been trained in this system to sit back and let somebody else lead, and then we complain about their leadership. But no, it's not about that. It's about what are you going to do? Can you you part of his leadership because you are supposed to be assisting and helping. Not just sitting back and wanting them to make all the decisions and do all the plans. No, it doesn't work like that.
Of course not. That's why I used the military as an example, because I know you said you were in the military. That's why I used it as an example.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is that, we can never, people, and even the women and the children, they need to know that they're leaders. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is not just sitting back and relying on one person. That's not the way it works. But right now, that's what I'm crying for, because we're voting in one person and thinking that you're going to resolve the whole world's problem when there's millions of people out here that need to stand up and be accounted for as leaders. We're all leaders. No president, we're not going to vote in one president and think that he's going to make everything all right. I was going to play The Wizard of Oz. What did she say? The Wizard of Oz, because they so heartedly had her so hoping that this one person, wizard, was going to make everything better for her, to send her home. No, it's her. It's you. It's you. You want to see better, be better, do better.
Let me ask you, but when we come together as a group, we can't say, I'm my leader, you're your leader, Miss Life Lesson is her leader, Pastor Petro is his leader. When we come together as a group, as the herd, because I like to call it a herd mentality. So when we come together as a group, then we do need leaders, and we have to be proper leadership, because proper leadership is gonna make sure that there's things in alignment. I'm saying proper leadership gonna make sure it's more than one person that we're considering a leader. E5, E6, E7, the E8, which is Master Sergeant and First Sergeant, then your E9, Sergeant Major, then you go up to your officers, on up to, so there's a chain of command. And when we come together, so we say nature, I like to watch nature shows. I love animals. I love to see the lions. the water buffaloes, and I like to see how prey defend themselves. And with the water buffaloes, it's a lot of them, but it's always when the lion attack, the male water buffaloes gonna come together as a herd. They're gonna follow the first one that turn, the alpha male. When he turn, the rest of them gonna turn with him, and they're gonna do everything in their power to drive the lions off. The lions off, and that's what I mean by when we come together as a group. We do need proper leaders, not just one leader. I agree with you. You don't need one supreme leader, and everybody else just follow whatever I say, and you don't have say so. You can't ever make a rule. No, in a herd mentality, we need a group of leaders that's gonna come together, and we gonna work together, and we're gonna lead together. You're right when you say you're the leader. I'm the leader. Miss Life Lessons is the leader. Petro is the leader. You're right. We are the leaders. But when we come together, we can't be in a herd and say we're gonna lead ourselves. It has to come together where we're gonna have some type of on the same wave thinking when certain things happen, so we will know when our leader move left or when these leaders here move left, that we're leading moving left too, and we're all together. It even get down to like basic training to where you have a squad leader. You're the leader of your squad. So everybody, I agree, everybody is a leader, but we're gonna need, because I'm preparing for war. I don't know who else. We've been at war, but I'm preparing for the physical war. And I don't know who else is preparing for the physical war. And when you go into a physical war, you need leadership.
Yeah, but Bakari, it's not going to happen that way for us. It's going to be different because we're not going to be so. It's going to be a feminine energy coming in for war. You got to recognize that. So it ain't going to be no patriarchal, no just everything, just one left side brain. It's going to be the left and the right side.
Oh, I want the feminine energy. We need our feminine energy.
So,
We're
so
different than them.
it's going to be a little bit different what we're moving into, and I deal with what we see above as below. And there's a lot going up above within us, because above is nothing but what's going on inside of us, what they call outer space. So sorry about all the noise. Hold on a second.
So, Miss Life Lesson, can you explain how you would fight a war with your group, with your army, with your militia? If you move to the beat of your own drum, how can we fight together in a war?
We're fighting together. What she means by that is
I'm talking about in a physical
not a
war.
physical war. It's
Yeah.
not going to be no more physical war. It's not going to be that hard. That's what they've been fighting. They're already dead. They're already knocked out. They ain't even right in their own society. So what's going to happen is a spiritual battle is coming in. It's already here. So that's what we're dealing with. All we have to do is pull out of the system. All other things will happen, are coming. And what she means by marching to the beat of our own drum is she's we that's just that. We got to work with self. You see what I'm saying? Work with self to be righteous within. You get
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying, Bakari?
Yes, I understand
Mhm.
being a righteous person and getting yourself together and being righteous within. I understand that. I'm not ever saying that we shouldn't do that. But I understand what you mean by the spiritual war. But they are killing us physically. And in order for us
But the
to,
whole thing is they killing us physically because we allow it. Why did the people call the police when they called 911? They didn't have to call 911. They could have called mental health center. Got the men in the community to lock him down, tie his hands behind his back, get him. No matter, a man might have had to sacrifice himself for the brother, but get him tied down, put him in the car, work as a community. That's what needs to be done with our mental health issues. Because if I see that happening, I'm going to get involved. If I'm walking in the Black community, I'm going to see it happen. I'm going to get involved. It's just in me to do that.
And you should. And so do I.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna say me now. But once we get involved in something like that, you do know at that moment it becomes a physical war. It's not spiritual anymore. Once we get involved with people
But
who
I'm dealing with my own people. That's what I'm saying. I'm not dealing with them. I'm trying to keep them out of my community from killing this young man.
and that's a great, you know what? I agree with that wholeheartedly. That is something I've been talking about as well, how we need to police our own communities. And that way I believe I know our communities would thrive better because we know us and we love us. They know us and they hate us. I believe our community would thrive if we policed our own communities. My son, he's an AP student, and he's been taking certain courses since he was in college courses since he was in the 7th grade. But the last year, he's a senior now, sophomore year and junior year. One class he was taking, I want to say it was a political science class. Uh, it may have not been political science, but whichever one. They would have cops come in and speak to him. And these were two black cops. And I happen to know, actually, I kind of know both of them, but I know how these cops feel. And I know especially how the mayor cop feel because we talk when he ain't on duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know he want to be in the black community to help black people. Now, we know how the cops feel about us. But, we call the cops as much as white people, according to police. We call the people that want to kill us as much as the people that want to kill us. And they are not here to protect us. And that is something he said. That is something that they are not here to protect us. Now, fortunately, they are some good cops and they want to be in the black neighborhood and they want to protect us because they understand us because they are us. They are black.
Yeah, and
When they went
I'm
on,
all for the Black police, but they need to come out of the system. They
they
need
went
to
on.
get them jobs and come work for their people. They need to
But see,
quit. I think the problem is dependency on the federal government, and that's a white people's problem, not our problem, because we don't benefit from it, nor does our police officers, nor does our military members, black military members. If anything, I'm waiting for the day when they get outraged, tear off their uniforms, and walk off the job. I waited for the day for these basketball players to say, no, we're not playing. But they're so stuck on the plantation, they're concerned for money over what really is more important, which is their spirituality themselves and their families, their moms and their dads. That's what comes first. Your parents and your people. But they putting everything forward and they allow the abuse to go on. And they think that they can trust what they say, what these Caucasians says, but they always go back on their words and double cross us. They lie. They lie. They don't keep to their words. If they kept to their words, why are we still getting shootings happening? And y'all stopped playing basketball and they said, okay, you win, we'll play basketball.
but even if we don't play basketball, that's not gonna stop them from shooting. They may have told us so they can get their money back, but that's not gonna stop them. Ain't nothing gonna stop them from shooting us but us. And then
Yes, it will stop it. It will stop it. If we pull out of their system, all black people walk off jobs in this society. Hold on. Go ahead and ahead and talk, Bakari.
Yeah, I don't mean personally, I don't think that will stop it. It might for a second till they can get them back, till they can get their money, but I don't think that will stop it. Can't nothing stop them, my opinion. Can't nothing stop them from shooting us until we start shooting them back. Until we start shooting them back. That's the only thing that if people is killing you, if people is killing you, pulling out of their system, trying to live in their land, even though we like to say it's not theirs, but they took it, it's theirs in all honesty, trying to live in their land and in peace in their land, they'll just kill you anyway until we stop them from killing us. They were just sending the Boogaloo Boys and the Proud Boys who ain't nothing but the police, the KKK who ain't nothing but the police, Antifa that ain't nothing but the police. They were sending their people to kill us.
But how you gonna start a war if you're not even making a move?
Until we start killing them back.
The move would be to pull out, everybody pull out the system. Pull out of the system. If black people knew what kind of system they were in and how the system doesn't give a damn about them, and it's still gonna continue to poison you, now is the time to come out while you have the chance.
You know, the sad thing is, I believe black people know. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with making money. You need money to survive. Shit, we need money to support.
Well, money's gonna come from us collaborating together. The more we separate it, the more we're gonna say, well, we don't have no money. But the
Well,
whole
I don't think we don't have money. I don't ever say that.
Mhm.
I don't ever say. Well, I'm not cutting you because I know you're not singling me out. But I'm just letting you know. I don't say we don't have money.
Mhm.
I'm just letting you know that I knew you weren't trying to single me out. But I'm just letting you know that I don't say that. But what I was saying about their money, the ones that's real, that's why I use David Banner for an example. But once you get them, you can use the money to finance some of the things that we gonna do. Because even if you step away from their system and you start building your own, you're gonna have to have some type of militia or military to protect it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with that. But we're saying the same thing pretty much. We just
Yes, we are.
you're just concerned with, yeah, I don't, the whole thing is, I agree. Both of us are right. We need to do both things at the same time, basically.
Yep, because you know what? Once again, to get back to the military, everybody do different jobs. The front line and fight might not be for everybody. We're gonna have the educators. We're gonna have the spiritual leaders. We are gonna have all of that, right? Everybody's not gonna have the same job.
Exactly.
Everybody's not.
Mhm.
Yeah. So being in the military, even though I'm not gonna go to war for this country, but I learned something from it. If I say I didn't learn anything from it, I would be lying. So when we come together as a whole, you know, when we form like a trans like a Voltron, as Miss Life Lesson saying, her picture looked like she too young to know who Voltron is, but she said Voltron, and but that's what we have to understand. We're going to be doing different things, but working together. Each part is going to do something different, but we are still working together for the same end goal, working together to better our people. The goal, and for me, I like to say our goal is to be a global people.
But don't you know that we all come together and we form one leader, the overall God? Didn't you know that? That when you put all our souls together on the planet, all black people, makes one Voltron, like she's saying. Makes the God. Makes up the sun, what we call the sun, right? Did you know that?
I know now.
Yeah. So that's what I mean by that. When the spiritual leader comes, the spiritual leader is going to be there, and it's going to be all of us all together, working together, and all, how they say it? in contrast together.
What are you doing today, Dad?
But
Some meat, Dad.
that's when we're gonna see the spiritual change of the planet, the balance, go from imbalance to balance state. But it's just taking some of us a little time. Like you said, there's some unknowingly
I don't know if that's
going against us, and some who are willingly going against us.
Yes, it is some that's willingly, and I believe it's some that just don't know that they are. They think they are doing the right thing. And our goal is the ones that think they're doing the right thing. Some of them will relate to me, so people like me should teach them. Some of them will relate to you, so people like you teach them. You understand what I'm saying? We got the same end goal, but have a different mindset sometime on. Shit, 'cause I'm ready to attack, and you're more laid back than me, and so you're gonna have the one that laid back, want to hear what you have to say. Then you have the ones who want to hear what I have to say on Miss Life Lessons, or to the people in the chat. And that's how, we have to do it. And we have to support one another while we are doing it. If more people gravitate to Light Bear, I can't be upset about that. I have to support Light Bear. So the way I support her, because her teachings is more accepted, I would tell more people about Light Bear. You all need to listen to her. Listen to her. She has some good information. That's what I would do. I'm not jealous, and I was raised in this lifestyle, so for me it could be a little different. Like I said, I'm 48, so my dad was born in 1920. I come from older parents. My mother was born in 27. My grandparents was in the late 1800s. So I was born into this lifestyle. I've seen my father turn down six figures, late 60s and early 70s, to stay and do certain things for Black people. My mother was there with him all the way because she gave birth to 9 kids, and for him to do what he did, he needed a good woman, a good mother there with the kids while he was out doing the work that he did. So for me, I was raised in this lifestyle, and sometimes I'm able to see things that some people can't, just because I was taught to see it from the time I was a little child, from the time I was 5 years old. I was taught to see it. I was taught to understand who the enemy was, who not to trust from the time I was a little kid. And I was taught to love my people so I've been involved in that, like voting. That usually be the big thing. I've been registering people to vote with my father since I was 7 years old. Going out feeding with my father. Do you remember when they used to give away the government cheese, and they would always show Black people standing in line? My dad said, you know what, Black people should be shaming themselves standing in line for some cheese. Everything white people do ain't good. Stop taking anything from white people.
Exactly. My grandmother died of cancer because my government cheese as a leader.
And he made a phone call, and after he made that phone call, him and a couple of his friends, and I used to go with him, we going to pick up food to feed our people. They struggle. If they struggling, they ain't standing in line for no cheese. So they had an organization. So if you were to talk to the people where I'm from, they'll say, man, we grew up on Cap'n Crunch. My dad would go get the big cases of Cap'n Crunch cereal, big bags of rice, and big bags of beans, and nobody had to stand in no line. My dad would say that's embarrassing. Our people shouldn't have to stand in line for no food. We can do that, right? So we would take the food, and we would go door to door and give it to our people. Ain't nobody got to stand in line. Nobody.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. My grandparents, like I said, your parents sound like they were like my grandparents. My grandparents took in people that didn't have the proper parents and stuff. Like my uncle's girlfriend. My grandparents took her in, gave her a place to stay, and they had like lots of children. They had about 11 children. Wait, let me see. About 9 or 10 children, somewhere in there as well. Because I come from a big family. Because they lived on farms and stuff back then. So.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 9.
And yeah, so Yeah, we kind of got similar family. Like, my grandmother and my aunties and them. So yeah. Um, Big families are important in the Black community, but I also see how they broke us down from big families. It's not hard to see that. They separated the men out of the families in the 50s. Well, 60s is when it started getting real bad because in the 50s, they were luring us into the community. And in the 60s, they finally got us integrated. They were luring us in through they wanted financial gain from us. And we fell for the jury and all that stuff. And we started buying from them and come around getting us to buy insurance. That was a big thing in the 70s and the 80s.
Yep.
Coming into our communities, trying to get us to make them rich. And we fell for that. We fell for it all the time. And like he's saying, yeah, constipation. And that's what made my grandmother, she was always cleaning out her system. You can over clean your system out and it can cause you can mess with your colon and cause yourself to have cancer as well. And the food that they feed us is not good as well. That's why they know they're weakening our immune system through the foods that we have to eat. That's why it's important that we have our own grocery stores. But I'll talk to you on the back end about that. And I won't hold y'all too long today, so we can get ready to close out. Do you have any last remarks, Bakari?
No, I was just gonna say, would y'all check out my channel? It's called Brother Bakari. Check out the content. If you hear something that you like, I would like you to subscribe. Like I said, I'm doing a show later today. I was gonna do it a little earlier, but I decided it'll still probably be around by 5 o'clock. Black heroes, which probably gonna offend some people with the black people that I'm calling heroes. But I stand firm on how I feel. So y'all check out my channel. Miss Life Lessons, I thank you. I'm sorry. I keep saying that. I see her name in the chat. I apologize. Light Bearer, I thank you for allowing me on your platform. I really appreciate it. Maybe we can do this again, set up as a show and, say what it's going to be about.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
this Halloween, 31st of October, I do things differently. We're not into the spooky boogeyman because we know the only spooky boogeyman is self in the dark. So what we're going to do is we celebrate the souls. We celebrate our ancestors. We celebrate self, the dark, the light, because, it was dark before it was light. If it wasn't for the darkness, there would never have been light, right?
Right.
So we have to appreciate the darkness, know that it's not a place where evil dwells only, but it's a place where we sort out and we're able to think before evil is put out. We can think about what we do first before we do it, what we're planning on doing before we do it. And make sure it's balanced, make sure it's righteous, and make sure it's correct. And we also get our answers in the dark. We heal in the dark. And then we come to the light and we come whole in the light. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be I'm going to do a masquerade party on that night. And then I'm also going to share my plantation visit. I visit one of the Virginia plantations here. I keep forgetting the name of it, but I'll give you all the name of it later.
Oh, okay.
And I've been given Halloween tales. You can maybe catch them. I've done 3 already, I think. Yeah, I've done 3 already, Halloween tales, and I'm gonna do another one tonight. So be sure to tune in later on tonight for them Halloween tales, and also for the masquerade party on Saturday, the 31st. And thank you, Bakari, for being here. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming on the panel and giving us conversation today. It's been a great, lovely conversation, building conversation. Miss Life Lessons, as usual, Grateful to see your face in the place. Emmanuel Briggs, thank you, brother, for being here as well. Who else I got? Pastor Prato, thank you so much, brother. Thank you for your support. That guy from Texas, thank you. Love you all very much, family. Thank you all for being here. And please go over and check out Brother Bakari's channel. It's very enlightening. I love it. He allows you up on the panel. Thank you, Indigenous Copper Tone Christ, brother. Thank you so much for being here. And with that said, let me make sure I got everybody. Yeah, with that said, true love, real peace, and the higher self within our soul. Till next time, peace. Thank you, Bakari.
Thank you very much. And once again, thank you and peace to the chat.
Okay.